the Chiefs got what they deserved on Sunday, I think. Um, they just weren't prepared enough. They weren't well prepared. They didn't seem to have the energy. They didn't have their swagger back. Andy Reid did not have a good game. There were the second and long runs that I just still don't understand, that killed drives. They've killed several this year. Defensively, Spags made some adjustments, it seems like, but really he's always been kind of a stubborn defensive coordinator. So I mean, Eric Bieniemy and Spags can get some blame, but I think Andy Reid, man, the time management was poor. They had that one play where they couldn't decide whether they were going to kick a field goal or punt. So then he had to burn a timeout. The play calling was stale, and I get that Andy Reid on the bad games will say he called the plays, and then on the good ones give some credit to Eric Bieniemy. Like, Andy Reid's the best in the business when it comes to being a good guy, and he's still a great coach. But this season, the game plan hasn't been great. Like, they haven't been prepared. The Chiefs need to find it again. And Mahomes mentioned that. I don't know what it is going to be. They don't know what it is going to be. But Andy's always going to say, the loss is on me. I'll be better, blah, blah, blah. And I believe him. He's taking credit for his team playing poorly, and it does start at the top in almost everything in life. But Andy Reid just hasn't been very good this season, I don't think.
Yeah, and I don't know obviously anything about Andy Reid other than watching him on the sidelines every Sunday and hearing his press conferences during the week. So I don't know what's going on with his personal life. I do know that terrible thing happened with his son right before the Super Bowl last year, and that's gotta, whatever happens when something like that happens in your life with a family member, that's got to weigh on your mind, like not constantly, but it's always in the back of your mind. You know what I mean? And it's a little bit of, it has to be partly a distraction no matter what. He's a professional. He's like one of the best coaches in NFL history. I'd say he's probably a top 10 coach in NFL history. And he can put it on the back burner and whatever else, but it's still, it's still there. You know what I mean? And it's sad, but it is. And who knows if that's, partly what's going on. And, he had that trip to the hospital, which we think was just dehydration. But, there's been a few things that it's just like, all right, is Andy Reid okay? That's kind of what I'm hoping. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I would hope that if it did ever become a problem where it was holding him back from doing his job, that he would willingly step away. But like when you're, 20 years deep like he is, or however long, even longer than that as a coach in general in football, you have to get it pried away from you, I think. And I don't think that's necessarily what's happening to Andy Reid. I'm not going to speculate on it. I think that he's a great guy. He's a great coach. Is there a non-zero chance that some things have distracted him this season for better or worse? Yes, I think so. And they've all been probably for the worse, but it's on Andy Reid to prepare the team. And I think he has bought into that. I think that he's always going to say the right things. He's always going to do the right things when it comes to being there for his team, being there for his fellow coaches, all those guys. This isn't me trying to bag on Andy Reid. And if I cut up the 2-minute soliloquy I had or whatever, it's going to look like me bagging on Andy Reid. But he just does have to be better. I think Patrick Mahomes has to be better. Tyrann Mathieu has to be better. There's no one person that you can point to and say, this is the reason why the Chiefs are 3-4. Like, it's not, oh, Steve Spagnuolo is stubborn, or, oh, Andy Reid is subpar in his game planning this year. Oh, Patrick Mahomes is throwing too many interceptions. The Chiefs just need to be better across the board. And if they can do that, they still have a chance to go 7-2 or 6-3 or something like that, and make the playoffs still and be a extremely dangerous wild card team. I mean, damn, that'd be one of the best wild card teams I wouldn't want to face them if they got it together. So the Chiefs have a shot to still do it. The season's not over yet. They're only 7 games in, but at the same time, they're 7 games in. Like, at a certain point, that switch has to be flipped. It's not like 2019 when the defense took 10 games and then suddenly figured it out. They don't have that level of new, scheme, system, player development, all that stuff. This is for a good chunk the same team that it's always been, outside of a new offensive line and some new starters here and there. Something's got to give. I don't know if it's a Super Bowl loss hangover, culmination of playing too many games, losing sight of it, getting too cocky, people not preparing well enough. It's probably a combination of several things, but the Chiefs need to be better. Man, 3-4 is not where I thought they would be after 7 games.